Welcome to Designs by Marge for a lace birthday card. So we're going to get started right now. Hi everybody, it's Designs by Marge and we're going to have another crafting morning. So I think the project that we're going to do today is going to be absolutely awesome, and we will get on that in just a minute. So in the beginning, you need to know that it's Designs by Marge. Here's where you order, and here's the new October hostess code. You use the hostess code whenever you're ordering less than $150. Anything over that, and you don't want to use this number. So you want to take a screenshot of that so that you know how to order. So before we get started, there are a couple of things that I wanted to talk about. And that is that we're coming up on our Christmas Time is Here suite. It's an absolutely awesome suite that you can start ordering on November the 1st. And you can see here that you get some really pretty gold ribbon and gold shimmer embellishments to go with it. The set is roses, and it does come with dies that go with that for your die cutting machine. So just a close-up of that, you can see that these roses are absolutely gorgeous, and they're going to make wonderful, beautiful Christmas cards for your friends and family this year. But it is a limited time stamp set, so it will only be available during the month of November. So if you want to get in on that, you need to make sure that you order it quickly. So November the 1st or thereabouts would be the best time to do that. Another great thing that Stampin' Up! Is doing right now is they're sharing Japan with us. And so right now, it started actually October the 1st, you can order the Japanese New Year stamp set. You can see that you've got Mount Fujiyama in here. You've got the symbols that spell out Happy New Year. You have the Japanese look to the stamps. It also kind of tells you what it is that it symbolizes through here. So these lines here are actually clouds, and that's done in a Japanese way. And of course, it's got the little fan and the Japanese, I think those are cherry blossoms, I think. Let's see. No, they're plum flowers. And so your Mount Fujiyama is like in three-step stamp. So it's really a nice stamp set to have. And you can get that now. The item number for that is 146391. And for $25, you can have a piece of Japan in your home that you can make your cards with. The last thing that I want to talk about is the Winter Wonders Paper Pumpkin offer. As you know, this is a 2-month kit, and the background for that is all about Christmas. So we're coming up on the end for being able to get the first kit. It ends October the 10th. So if you want your paper pumpkin, you need to get it started right away. And again, you can do that by going to stampinup.net/Designs by Marge, and there's a little section there that says Paper Pumpkin, and you click on that and it gets you started. Okay, so now to look at the card that we're going to make today. This wonderful little card that actually Linda Bettinger, I got the base idea from her, and then of course I changed all of it. So we're going to make this card, and on the inside you can see that it's bordered with cardstock. So I thought that was a wonderful idea that Linda had, and I just embellished on it. So the supplies that we're going to be using today are the Lace Dynamic impression folder. We're going to use the stamp sets for Colorful Seasons. I'm only going to use this sentiment here for the inside. That's the only thing we're going to use out of there. And then the Botanical Bliss, I like the Happy Birthday, so we're going to be using that. And we're also going to be using this little flower. Okay? What you're going to need, of course, I decided to do it in a different color. This one is in Petal Pink. And so I decided I wanted something that looked a little more fall for the fall birthdays. And so I decided to use Cajun Craze and Whisper White for the paper. The ribbons that we're going to be using are they're the Crumb Cake and Cajun Craze. And they are from the Come Together Suite on page 47. You can see the combo ribbons right there. Okay. We're also going to be using Cajun Craze ink, glue, two glues actually, the snail glue and the Tombow. We are going to be using the Holiday Rhinestone Basic Jewels, so you can get those out of the holiday catalog. And now that we've gone through all this, and we're also going to be using some white embossing powder and your little buddy to get your paper ready for that. Okay, and so I want you to do a close-up here. My husband is the one that's taping for me today, so thank you, Ronan. So if you get a screenshot of your measurements here, and then we'll talk about them as we go through the video as well. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so that means you need to be down here. Wonderful. Okay, so we're going to start by using, whenever you use your base of your card is in white, you need to use the thick Whisper White cardstock. It's in the classic 8.5 by 5.5 and scored at 4 1/4. Okay, then you're going to need, I need directions over here myself. Then you're going to need, for the color layer, you're going to need a 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 in the Cajun Craze. You're going to need 2 Whisper White layers that are 4 by 5 1/4. You're going to need another layer, well, this one is actually, we're going to stamp on, that is 4 by 5 1/4. And then for the sentiment, the white sentiment, because it's going to go like this. So the white layer is 1 1/4 by 2 1/8, and then the Cajun Craze layer is 1 1/8 by 2 inches. Okay, so we'll get started by doing our stamped layer first, because we kind of want to do, you know, all our stamping first. And of course with this you need paper underneath that you don't care if you get ink on, because we're likely to do that. Okay, so we're going to take our Dynamic Lace impression folder, and you see where the Stampin' Up is on here. We're going to lay it this way so that the Stampin' Up side is on the table. Then we're going to take our Cajun Craze ink, and we're going to ink this up real good. And I just re-inked this, so it should work pretty well. So you notice that the Lace Dynamic folder kind of has lines that go this way. Okay, so we want to follow along with that so that our card comes out so that the lines are in that direction. Okay, so we're going to set that aside. We're going to take this layer, it's going to set up this way. So we want to just lay it down carefully, right? Get our die cut machine out. You're going to need your regular platform and only one of the clear plates, okay? You're going to close this up, lay it down here on the big shot, cover it with this, and then run it through. I think what you need to do when you're doing this is to run it through slowly so that the ink has time to transfer evenly. I've seen, and in fact I've done it, run it through fast, you know, because we always get in a hurry, and then all the ink doesn't transfer. So you want to be careful to do that. Okay, so we can set this aside. And let's look at what we have. Isn't that pretty? Turned out absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so you decide which side you want up. You can have it either way you want. Okay, this, all you have to do is take it to the sink and run water on it, and it cleans right up real easy. Okay, so we're going to let that dry a minute while we do the rest of our sentiments. Okay, so we want to take one of the 4 1/8 inch by 5 3/8 inch to do the inside of our card. Okay, and we're also going to do that in Cajun Craze. I want the little flower that we took from Botanical Bliss, and I'm going to ink that up. I always stamp it off first just to make sure that it's in the position I want, and it's totally inked up. And you're going to put that right down at the corner. Okay, and then you're going to take your sentiment, ink that up real good. It's a little easier to see whenever you've got the photopolymer ones done, but you remember with photopolymer you need to have a little bit of cushion in order to get a good image. So we'll put the piercing mat under that, and then I'm going to put my sentiment right there. Okay, so now we can set that aside. Okay, we want to do our envelope, and so the envelope is also going to be this little flower. And I want my leaves this way, I think. Okay, so we can set that aside. And then the next thing that we're going to do, if we look back at our card, see, we've got the inside done, and now we want to do our sentiment. So our sentiment, if you remember, we're going to do our powder, our embossing powder. But we're going to do it on the Cajun Craze piece. I don't need that anymore. Okay, so you want to take your buddy and clean it up real good and get any static particles or anything that might cling to it off of there. You want to get your Versamark, which is another supply you need, and stamp your happy birthday right in the center of that piece. Okay. Okay, so you can see that it's right in the center. Okay, so now we're going to take our white embossing powder and fill that up, or dip it in there. It's small enough that I can just dip it. Check it to make sure it's covered real good. Okay, and then we're going to use our heat tool to get it done. Now, when I have something this small, you know, you can get burned with your heat tool real easy if you're, you know, not careful about it. So I hold my little paper this way with my little tongs, and I like to get my heat tool hot before I start using it. And you can see it start to change. I'm sure you guys have seen this before. And you have to be really careful about that mat. I have burned it with my heat tool because it does get very hot. And then whenever it gets shiny, you're done. And I'll show it to you in just a second. So this is how our sentiment looks after it's been done. Okay, so we can set that aside now. Now our other piece is dry enough so that we can work with it. So we're going to set these things aside. And I'm going to pull out my cutting tool. By the way, is that we are now able to pre-order the new cutting tool. And I don't know, we haven't been told yet when it'll be available for customers. But as a demo, you can already get it. So that's another incentive for trying to decide whether you want to be a demo or not. Okay, so here's our image. And what we're going to do is we're going to cut it in 1 1/8 sections. So, and this is why we wanted our lines to go this way and not this way. Okay, so, and then you want to keep them in order as well. You don't want to mix them up so that you know which one belongs where. And some of them are a little hard to cut. So don't force it because you'll tear your paper, you know, because it's been, you know, the fibers have been through the mill already in the impression folder, so you don't want to, that one's going to be hard. Okay, so all I did with that was just set it down in the middle. Oops. And then moved it. Okay. So that's our second one. Then another 1 1/8 cut. Lined up good there. That was hard. Okay. Okay. And so we lay those out. And then we can put this away. So now we want to design our layout here. Sorry about that. So we're going to take our other piece of Whisper White that is 4 by 5 1/4, and we're going to start laying it out here. You want to lay it out first before you put it on. And the best way that I've decided to do this is by doing the top and the bottom first and then adding on the other layers, because you want a little bit of space between those. So in order to get them even, you need to kind of eyeball it first and see and make sure you get them centered where you want them. Okay. Now you just pick them up one at a time, turn it over. You're going to use your Tombow for this because you've got indentations that the glue has to adhere to your paper. So in order for the glue to get in those, it needs to be a liquid. And then you're going to lay it back out where you want. The other good thing about the Tombow is that you can move it around for a minute in order to get it in the right place. Okay, so we're going to lay these back out so that we don't mess up. And then we're going to do the bottom one. And you notice I'm kind of just eyeballing what it looks like up here to what it looks like down here so that I can get those edges as even as possible. Okay. See how I just moved that around until I got it where I want it. And then I'll do my last piece. And you see those fibers in the paper have broken down now with the use of the dynamic folder. But you kind of have to have something pronounced in order to have this look, have the look that you want. Okay, now because we want this to stay where it is, we're going to put a layer on top of it to hold it down. And then we're going to move that aside while we put the rest of our stuff together. And we're done with liquid glue. So now we're going to adhere the sentiment to the piece of Cajun Craze. And it's just the barest of a border. Okay, and then we're going to take our thick Whisper White and fold it, and then burnish it so we have a nice crisp fold. And then we're going to put, that is really thick, so then we're going to put our adhesive on here on the back of your Cajun Craze. And adhere it to the inside, which also has a very tight little border. Like that. So see, isn't that pretty? I think it's just gorgeous. So now our other piece should be ready now. And we're going to do some work with that before we put it on. We're going to take our ribbon, our Cajun Craze, our crumb cake ribbon. And we want to adhere it here. And one of the secrets to doing this is to just use a little Scotch tape on the back of it to keep it in place. You don't want it to move around. And then you come back on this side. You want to pull it as tight as you can across here, like so. Pull it to the inside so that it looks like this. And then put a little piece of Scotch tape just right there to hold it in place, okay? Then we're going to use our Cajun Craze to just come around it. If I can. We're going to come over to the left side and just make a little bow. On the side of the card. You know, making bows are not my best thing, but I get it done eventually. And then we want to just snip it to size. Now you can also put behind here, you can put a little glue dot. I have the mini glue dots from Stampin' Up, and I'm just going to take one and just stick it on the back of that bow and then onto the ribbon so that it just stays in place. Okay. Now what we're going to do is turn it over and add it to the front of our card, making sure, of course, that we are putting it on the front. Because, you know, accidents happen. If it can happen, it's happened in the studio. Okay. And again, it's just got the barest border. Okay. Just like that. So now we're going to take our little happy birthday and adhere it to a little piece of Whisper White. Not much of a border on it, but it's a little bit bigger. Okay. And then you're going to put 4 mini dimensionals on that. So that it stands out a little bit. Well, actually, I think I'll put 5. Take the paper off of the back of them. And then I want to line it up so that my wonderful ribbon here shows. Kind of like that. Okay. And then in the end, if you like, we can add a couple of these basic jewels. And these are the holiday ones, but they have these yellow ones in here that I thought would look really nice on the card. And so I think I want them here with the ribbon. And maybe one more here. And that's our card. So here's the end of the final product and the inside. So you can see in Petal Pink or in Cajun Craze. And here's the insides of the cards. Okay. And then of course our little envelope. So I hope you enjoyed that building this card. I thought it was just a marvelous, beautiful little card using just a few pieces. So it's not an expensive card to make. And it's certainly one that you can make in your home for your loved ones and have them ready for their birthday. So hopefully everybody has a good week. And I will see you for the next video on Tuesday. Thanks, guys.